I'm not going no small fret. Let me extend my apologies on a big fret with big flag going overhead like canopy.
Evolve Entertainment is giving you a bet like no other. Prime. Saturday, October 28th, 2023 from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Botanic Gardens. Experience the Prime vibe with top artists and DJs. DJ Spawner, DJ Sleem and Unstoppable Shaq. Legendary DJ Cut, Hollywood HP, Major Mystic, Signal Band. TK International. And soca sensation, Voice. Sip on complimentary mimosa, beer and rum punch. Elevate your experience with table, bottle and hookah services. Are you ready to be part of the Prime vibe? Get your tickets at Patty Shack, Bullseye Pharmacy, Deepex Color Lab, Prime Committee member, The Palette, Digicel Rosso, The Shack Portsmouth, and via www.evolveentertainmentinc.org. Get ready to prime up.
Finally, a card for everyday living. Bank of St. Lucia Visa Credit Card. Everything gets paid with my card. My utility bills, grocery shopping, that cute dress I saw online, my favorite entertainment and Netflix subscriptions. I collect points each time I use my credit card to redeem anytime. Yes! Imagine a credit card rewarding my lifestyle. Bank of St. Lucia Visa Credit Card for everyday people, everyday moments.
Good afternoon, welcome to another edition of Youth Unplugged, brought to you by the Bank of St. Lucia. Today I'm joined with Mr. Giovanni. Charles, we're going to be talking about youth development today and what exactly is going on with youth development in St. Lucia. Good afternoon, Giovanni, how are you?
Good afternoon, I'm doing good, you know, just enjoying the vibes at RCI. Music was really good a while ago.
That's what we're known for, you know, we're known to turn up the place and we're turning up the place right through. So we're going to turn it up a little bit different this time with the Youth Unplugged. That's the real kind of turn up. That's my kind of turn up.
All right.
So Giovanni, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. I'm just very excited to be in Creole Heritage Month. It's one of my favorite seasons, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm very much excited to share some of my plans and also just hop on board any little activity that's happening. So yeah, it's my season. I could say that. Okay, I'm a cultural person.
I mean, I like October. October, it's every single weekend in October is something different.
Yeah.
And this weekend, I think we have Oktoberfest, and then
in my community, we have Leve Banan going on. Shout out to South Castries.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. You know, so a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right. But let's talk about you. Right. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, where you're from and your schooling, that sort of thing. Let's go down.
All right. So I'm from the community of Fuasho Castries. Of course, I'm currently the country coordinator of SAIPAN, that's the Commonwealth Youth Peace Ambassadors Network. That's for the St. Lucia chapter, as well as doing the regional league of that in the Caribbean. Okay. And also founder of the Artistic and Cultural Youth Development Canvas. Of course, we say Canvas. We don't want to be basic and say council. We are a little creative in this group.
Mm-hmm.
So Canvas is the development of an art, of an art piece. So for us to say Canvas, we want to be that base for development for young people who are involved in the arts. And of course, I'm heading on to a new venture with my friend Randall Theodule. We're co-founding the SAGE Impact Organization, and SAGE stands for Social Advocacy for Growth and Empowerment. So pretty much just involved in a lot of youth development work, human rights, trying to balance it by being fun as well. You know, I'm involved in arts and all of that. So, you know, just trying to get that good balance in and just do my thing.
Okay, so where did that start off for you? Because I know you went to SMC. A lot of people don't know that, and you didn't stay at. And I think this is a place where you are allowed to, you know, find yourself. I think that's the best way to say it. You could find yourself. I mean, we have a lot of different clubs and groups which allow you to, you know, express that side of you if you so desire and so forth. Last week we had Monique here, and she was speaking
Right.
about Talfest and how students express themselves with drama. But that's not the only thing that you could do at that point. Debating is a huge thing. I was
Right.
actually part of the debating club for a little bit. I mean, you have counselors and so forth. So, were you in any of these clubs during your tenure?
So at SMC, I had a very good balance. I did some debating here and there. But I tried to focus on what my true passion was at the time, and that was the arts. So I was involved in the drama club, the SMC drama club, and I did a lot of the work when it came to literary night and of course Talfest. Funny enough, I got an award, a special award on my graduation for Talfest and my involvement in
Oh, really?
the SMC drama club. So that was really cool. To get that sort of recognition, because I always wanted to work alongside the teachers. SMC is a school that's very diverse. As much as there's a heavy focus on academics and extracurricular like sports and so on, we also focused on the creative side of the students. So I got that chance to really explore my creativity, and I think it started there as well. I got a good balance at SMC. So shout out to all the Sumerians out there. I have to put it there, Rodney House.
Well, I'll say Tapo House because that's my house. But I actually know you within the drama and the theater arts realm. That's where I knew you. So when I'm seeing Saipan and that's where did that come from? Because where did that come from? Because I know you on the stage, probably doing a skit here and there, very tight and taking with people like Melissa Giddens and doing your thing at the time of the school. So when I'm saying Saipan and youth ambassador and them, all them big posters, it's
like
where
that
that come from? That had to come from somewhere, because from when I knew you, at least at SMC, I think you're a few forms below me probably.
Just one.
I think you will below me at SMC. That's a whole point. You understand? So that was not there at the time. So where did it come from? Where did it all start? What inspired you to go to that direction?
So it was, I was an intern at the OECS Commission, and one of my coworkers at the time, who I saw as a mentor. Funny enough, she's actually my best friend's mom as well. So Mrs. Sally and Alfred, and she was like, "Hey, I think you should really apply for this Youth Ambassadors Network." That was at the time being a call for applications being sent out by the St. Lucia National Youth Council. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because my background is really the arts and all of that, performing, and I mean, from a tender age, I used to do youth activities in the community of Washoe. From about 12, I used to be hosting my own little activities, raise funds on my own and everything. So I figured I should just use that as my basis, but more speak to my aspirations. So my application really wasn't based on what I have done, but what I intend to do.
Okay.
And I actually came out as one of the top individuals in that application process.
Wow.
I became a youth ambassador, started volunteering with the St. Lucia National Youth Council. Many people thought I was on the executive. I never spent any time on the executive. I was just a volunteer in my post as programs officer of the Youth Ambassadors Network. And from then, I just decided that, I want to also do my own thing. I want to merge this newfound love for youth development with my love for arts. So that's where in 2018 I founded the Artistic and Cultural Youth Development Canvas. Okay. And for me, that was a great way to explore the nexus between youth development and creative expression. So it's an organization that's really based on teaching young people the importance of cultural heritage and why it should be preserved, and also using arts education for discipline. And we also want to do some skills development, developing our young artists. So it's an organization that's very near to my heart, because it's really what I'm passionate about. I merged these two things, and that's what came about.
You got something beautiful out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me dissect that, because let me dissect that. You said you are a youth ambassador. So what exactly is a youth ambassador? If somebody meets me on the road tomorrow and say, but I heard you speaking about youth ambassadors on Youth Unplugged. What is a youth ambassador? How do I apply to be a youth ambassador? What exactly is that? What do you do as a youth ambassador?
So I know that there are certain organizations who, like in my case, the SLNYC, they were looking for a youth ambassadors network. So I applied do that. But in terms of just being a youth ambassador, I think anybody can do that as long as you're representing your country in anything related to youth development. I would consider you a youth ambassador. You can be a youth ambassador on a local grassroots level, whether you're in your community championing change. It could be just that you organize a little homework club after school, any little thing. So it's really just about being able to give back to nation building. And that's what I see a youth ambassador as. A lot of people look at it as the traveling opportunities and so on. These things come. And these are always good to talk about. But I'm the type of person to focus on grassroots level and what's happening back at home. So as much as I do that sort of traveling to represent St. Lucia in forums and all of that, I ensure that when I come back, I disseminate my information to the young people of St. Lucia, and I try to, follow up with an activity or two or something that can be impactful on the local level.
Okay. So you spoke about, of course, activities and youth development. But what are some of the notable projects that you have undertaken over the last, probably, can I say, 4 or 5 years? What are some of the projects that you've worked on that's notable within the community?
So with Saipan, we do a lot of work in peace building. And of course, we are very much against violent extremism. So we've done many capacity building workshops surrounding topics like mental health. We look at environmental sustainability and climate change. We also look at justice and human rights. I would say one of my milestones in the past few years would have been last year in 2022, where I actually was selected by the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations as one of the top young peace builders of Latin America and the Caribbean. So with that, I got to attend a forum in Spain in October and another in Morocco in November. So those opportunities coming back to back, it was like a little bit of a shocker to me. But I like to speak on it because I was coming from a point of being a little bit, a little tired of the whole social development thing, because sometimes we are so selfless. We put a lot of the work before ourselves. So I wasn't really taking care of myself. So, getting those opportunities, I got to travel, I got to, develop an initiative, which I'm working on currently, called Youth Edutainment, which is an after-school program surrounding creative subjects where young people are against social crime, are advocating for social crime prevention, but utilizing artistic fields such as digital arts and so on. So that's a project I'm very happy that it's coming up about. But we've done some capacity building with that already. Youth Edutainment, which of course is education and entertainment. So, teaching different things like creative writing and so on. So I've done quite a bit. Hoping to do more. I know that's just the tip of the iceberg for me. A lot of people will probably tell me I missed out a few things, but that's just what came to mind right now.
Okay, I know somewhere around 2017, was that when Saipan officially came or launched or something? I attended something at the financial center. It was on at the
that was our theater and cocktails event
I remember,
at the finance center.
Yes, I remember I attended some, because I got a nice little letter and a ticket or something. No, I'm taking a little brochure, and they spoke about what Saipan was all about, and I remember attending that event. But after that, I didn't see much with respect to Saipan and what they did. So you mentioning that today actually just hit a little spot, because it's evident that they have been doing some work. Right. That was since 2017, I could tell you. That's about 6 years ago.
And the fact that you still remember.
I still remember.
It says that it was
somewhat impactful. It was interesting. I wore a nice suit and I had just left South Louis, and I went to that event at Saipan at that point. So, it's very interesting to see that they're actually doing some work within the community, and you are a part of that. Okay. These after-school programs, how many people are involved in it now in terms of students and so forth?
So, in terms of the after-school program that I mentioned, this is more so future. So it's a project that we're working on.
Okay.
But in terms of the capacity building that we've done, gearing up to this program, with our youth edutainment workshops, we've done stuff like traditional masquerade, teaching young people the entire essence of traditional masquerade, because St. Lucian masquerade is different from any other masquerade in the region. As much as there are similarities in costumes and so on, it is very important. And that is something I learned from Auntie June Frederick. Because I was part of Youth in Arts as well.
I had to call her. I always say that I was right. I wrote a nice little extract when I was at UE. I did a course in culture, and I didn't know that traditional masquerade was actually not part of our carnival.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas, yes. So you know, when I heard that, I was like, hold up, because at that time I was in Barbados, and they were speaking about things like Moko Jombies and Mother Sally and all these things associated with crop over. And I'm like, hey, but I remember as a little boy by the market watching carnival with my mother.
Jab,
right. You would see them sometimes in carnival. But over the last few years, I haven't been seeing it. You know, so when I spoke to her, she told me that traditional masquerade is not part of our carnival, but December.
Yes, it's Christmas. So you will see they're actually getting ready to go around and do those masquerade performances. And I've done them in the past as well. So I always want to shout out Auntie June for doing that sort of work, because it fueled me to do what I'm doing now. You know, next week I'll be going to some schools along with the SIDC organization. And we have this campaign called Chebe Wasim Koyol, which of course means hold on to your Creole roots. And we want to advocate for the preservation of the Creole language, but also just cultural practices like traditional masquerade. Something as simple as bamboo bursting. Have you heard bamboo in your community as yet?
Honestly,
you know?
honestly, I can answer that question because yesterday was literally the first day I heard bamboo bursting in my community for the month of October.
Wow.
And I live in Entrepot, and that is something that we would hear from the start of October when I was a little boy. Because all the fellas in the area, my mother never allowed me to do it. To be honest, she didn't want me going and play with kerosene and fire.
Yeah.
I never burst bamboo in my life. You understand? But I used to go and watch the fellas burst the bamboo by the road. It was annoying that I mean, in the afternoon.
It was annoying?
Yeah,
maybe because you were not involved.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
Bro, imagine I sitting down in the living room or in the kitchen doing my homework, and I see the fellas outside, they busting bamboo. Whap, whap, whap.
Yeah, who losing their eyebrows
Yeah,
also.
okay, and I'm not involved in that, so I never really gravitated towards busting bamboo. But I'm telling you, it's not like we don't have bamboo or there is a shortage of bamboo.
Right.
You might be in my home full of
It's
bamboo.
our national plant.
Yeah,
you know,
we
it's
have,
everywhere.
yeah, it's everywhere.
It's just that the tradition, the cultural form in itself is it's dying, and it always hurts me to say it, and I don't really like to say it, but that's why it's important with the work that we do. And as much as it's not as grand as we would like it to be, I think it still serves its purpose that we go to schools and we teach young people the importance of preserving that heritage. And, you know, it needs to be preserved for generations to come. As cliche as this phrase may sound, you don't know where you're headed if you don't know where you're coming from. So if we just have young people being raised by TikTok and social media and all of that, we might as well use that to get to these young people and 100%. Teach them stuff that will make them, you know, be more in tune with their identity and be proud of their culture. Because when you travel out there, don't you get that pride when you say, yeah, I'm from St. Lucia?
Of course.
But then when people ask more, you need to have that knowledge. A lot of our young people don't have that knowledge.
At
you
all.
know?
At
So
all.
it's important for us to just really dive into that advocacy.
And I agree with you 100%. I mean, I do a lot of work within the hotels sometimes, and often part of the production that we sell to our tourists involves a lot of our traditional masquerade. And in some instances, you will see only older people. I'm telling you.
Right.
And when I say that, I'm speaking towards things like quadrille and folk dancing. That is something mainly old people, or let me not say old, but older people are associated with. We're talking people in the late 40s, 50s, even 60s. You understand? For the other forms of masquerade, when you speak about the Moko Jombi, the stilt walkers, I mean, we have some young fellas involved in that. They're real excited.
Shout out to Barry George. I know Barry always has his team who perform with Silver Shadows. They always do it. Carnival season, everything.
Yeah.
So that warms my heart.
That part I think is in good hands.
Yeah.
I think the guys are generally excited
but
to
we
do
still
that.
have to work on, you know, some proper succession plans. You know,
Of course.
proper ways in passing on that information. Some of these cultural forms, you don't have to be involved in it, but you just need to have the knowledge, because the knowledge is important. That will help you develop that sense of pride and identity. You know?
Like, let me ask you a question, Giovanni. You know how to dance a la comet?
Of course.
You involved quadrille at some
The
point.
6 count, black helmet
Okay,
pitching.
okay,
Of
all right,
course.
all right.
I was
I'm
also
stopping.
I was
I'm
also a
stopping.
member of Helen Folk Dancers.
I was a member of Village Folk
All
Dancers.
right,
That's what I tell
all
you.
right.
Yes, as long as you remember how to dance your lack, we're in good hands.
Yes.
We're definitely in good hands in that respect. Because it's a thing that, I mean, boy, if my mother didn't send me to quadrille, how many years ago? That's probably like 7
Yeah.
or 6 in
Really
junior.
in the Ave Maria
In the Ave Maria school every
classroom.
Saturday. You know, I forgot you were part of quadrille for a second.
Yeah,
there.
I did so many of these things. That is where I really started because there's a discipline, there's a level of discipline that
Exactly.
comes behind being involved in these things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're talking about our nation being plagued with crime and all those things, let us make those initiatives, those programs that can, counter those things so we can curb the crime rate and all of that. So something as simple as getting young people involved in those extracurricular activities. And I'm an arts person. I'm an arts person, so I like to advocate for those that are artistically inclined. Those sort of activities have a level of discipline. It's not just sports. And, it's no shade to any of the sports people. Sports serves its purpose. But I want people to also understand that the arts has its purpose as well when it comes to discipline and youth development. So that is why I was just very happy to create that organization to bridge, to create that bridge, that connection. It's important that we get young people involved in those things, those other areas that they can blossom in, foster their creativity so that they can look away from those things that pull them into those negative areas, So that's why I like to do it. Arts for social justice really is what we call it, and just the social advocacy is important. And arts is something anyone can relate to. Everybody loves a little music, a little something creative. So you want to use that to connect people as well. It promotes community togetherness. So there's a lot of things that back me up in terms of my passion for it.
Yeah, of course. And I'm seeing it now because I actually did not remember the whole Helen Folk thing. You understand? And sometimes I feel really bad because Miss Hall was somebody who was very passionate about culture. That lady was this culture through and through.
And youth as well.
Youth, I mean, sit down there first on a Saturday afternoon and boy, I like to tell you, I get good job here because I'm not doing the dance properly. My feet are moving. Mind you, I'm in juniors, You understand? If you see you could have real dance and you're a junior, trust me, you're intermediate before
you
get
your promotion.
Okay, get your promotion. But I tell you, if you see the legs not moving, you don't have it. You
Stay
understand?
right there.
Exactly. And nowadays, we're not seeing it. I think some of these groups were very instrumental in keeping people away from different forms of violence and being on the street, because it was a great place for me to go on a Saturday after. As much as I didn't like to go sometimes on a Saturday, it was a good place to go. I also remember being part of things like the Cultural Development Foundation summer camp program.
Yes,
and
the Youth Summer Arts Platform.
Right, and at that time I learned to play steel pan. I learned to do a bit of theater as well. Again, people like Stacy was very involved in that, and it was a place for you to go meet people. Like every summer you'd go and probably meet the same faces at CDS. It's not our parents didn't want us to come to our office and sit down, but sometimes it was that too. But so that they needed to send you somewhere, and we're not seeing a lot of these things now.
So I know for sure the program still goes on as whether it meets the numbers like before. I'm not sure. That would be up to CDF to report on that. But I'm happy that it still happens at least. And I have that vision to see more of those programs happen, because I also blossomed from the 4-hour show after school program, and at that time a lot of us were just coming from school, very idle, nothing to do. Well, we then go in the community center. If you you come from school and you need a little something to eat, that's there too. So you get academic support, you get support in IT, music, dance, theater, life skills. So all of that was just a very holistic approach to youth and social development, and we don't see many of that. And also one of the counselors from that program, I saw her yesterday. I attended a session on the domestic violence bill, teaching students about that, and she just came up to me and she's like, I'm very proud of you. And I had to pause. I'm like, but who is this? And then it clicked. I was like, oh yes. For someone to remember me so many years ago, being involved as a student in an after school program, and now me doing what I'm doing, and then she's just like, yes, I'm proud of you. I've been looking. something like that, that just really motivated me.
Now I'm making it hard to song. That melted you on the inside.
Yeah, man, that really motivated me. So I have to keep going. I have to keep pushing. And for some of us in this youth work, we get a little demotivated here and there. It's a lot.
I can imagine.
It's a lot. So I always say to people, just take care of yourself first sometimes,
Speaking about motivation, demotivated. It's around that time of year for youth awards, and I'm hoping that you, of course, have been nominated for probably one or two things. Actually did a recommendation for a student of mine sometime last week. I think that the deadline was last Friday. It was actually did a little nomination because she's been doing great work. At Arthur, she would be on her feet trying to sell her creations. She made a lot of different bracelets and so forth.
Nice.
And often you don't see students that drive to continue pushing or selling their product, but she's very entrepreneurial, and I like that. So
outstanding youth in entrepreneurship.
Exactly, right. Outstanding youth in entrepreneurship. And we have a lot of that now with things like the Youth Economy Agency.
Yes, and there's a lot popping up. Yes. I love attending those exposés, those exhibitions that happen, and young people just have their little setup and showing off what their products and services are. That's really good.
Yeah.
I hope we continue doing that.
We had things like Jeunesse sometime last year, earlier this year, the Taiwanese Expo. There's a lot going on with youth, and I think that sometimes we need to read because the information is there. People don't gravitate towards it. People don't try to attain the information or some of the financing that's available on the outside, because the other day I sent a link for the Youth Economies grant that they're giving, and a guy tell me, I said, you had to pay the money back. I said, no, it's a grant. It's a loan. You understand?
Yeah, man,
so if you have an idea, you want that idea to pick up, you want to try to do something towards a step towards your business idea, whatever it is, go around, go to the ministry, see what is available, because there's so many different agencies funding youth-related activities, and sometimes we don't pay attention to that. So I think it's important, of course, to read and see what's there for you. So I'm hoping, right, that when I see the youth awards, hopefully I get an invitation. Ministry of Youth, yeah.
Just pull up. They cannot tell you, you're youth.
No, they'll tell me. Yeah, I want a special invitation to sit down in the front. Yes, but I'm serious. So Giovanni, what's next for you?
Well, what's next for me? Like I mentioned, working on an organization. Another one,
I call you DJ Khalid.
Call me DJ Khalid at this point. But social advocacy for growth and empowerment, we're trying to encompass human rights education, and of course just involve marginalized groups, and engage in that advocacy that they so need. I would say for some of these communities, it's a necessity. So that's pretty much what's next for me. I'm currently in the process of creating my little organizational plan and everything. We've launched on social media already, so you can follow us, those of you listening, at Sage Impacts. That's SAGE Impacts. You could get us on Facebook. I didn't want to say Twitter. I think it's X now.
Yeah.
Get us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Elon Musk, but I don't know what's going on. But get us on X. And yes, so pretty soon we'll be looking for some volunteers and people to be a part of the movement. We're coming to Sage St. Lucia, just create that level of high impact when it comes to social advocacy coming from youth for youth. So, it's very important to highlight those youth-led organizations.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited. And I'm hoping that in the next few months, I wouldn't say years, but next few months, I could see a lot coming out of Sage and, of course, from you, Giovanni. So once again, I want to say thank you for joining us today on Youth Unplugged. We're sponsored by the Bank of St. Lucia. That's all the bank you need. So, if you're not with the Bank of St. Lucia,
I have an account.
Yeah. If you were not there, I would still tell you, I need you there. I don't want you there, but I need you there. That's a big difference. All right. So, guys, this has been another edition of Youth Unplugged brought to you by the Bank of St. Lucia. I want to say thanks again to our guest, Giovanni Charles, for coming in today. My name is Khalidd Vidal. I will see you guys again next week for another edition of Youth Unplugged. Of course, the year is coming to an end. And, we're about to go into November. And I think November is our last month of Youth Unplugged. So, people, just keep listening. You'll see what's going on by the turn of the year. Thank you so much, guys, for listening today. We'll see you again next week.
Sometimes you know where you want to go, but may not know how to get there. Your vision, your future, your life. Bank of St.